My, look who it is. It's your best friend, Plane Killer. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today I have a bit of a special event for you. As you can see, we're flying in the 262, but not just any 262, the Narwhal version, as it's very affectionately known, whereas in the tech tree, it's known as A1U4 variant. This thing comes with what's basically a normal 262, but with a high velocity 50mm cannon directly mounted in the nose. Now, in a true German fashion, out of pure desperation, they took their best fighter and stuck an anti-tank gun on it. Why? This wasn't to kill fighters, no. This was designed to intercept bombers from a much farther distance away so that their precious 262s were getting blown to pieces by 50 caliber lead. And as far as I'm aware, it did not go quite as planned. It shot one, maybe two rounds at the target and then just jammed. And I believe there's only one example of this aircraft as well. But the main thing I want to talk about in this video is how I go about spading aircraft. Now, a lot of aircraft, especially later in the tiers, definitely have a bit of a stock grind. The 262 being one of them. The Bearcats, the P-51H on a lesser level, the Mark 24 especially. And then as you get into jets, it just gets more and more annoying. And it is quite a problem for the new players who have never flown a jet, especially a jet before, or just don't have the adaptability to manage dealing with having such a low performing aircraft than it should be. And so here I am going to explain my kind of methodology of this. And these games are, I played like 10 games through spading the process. This footage is not spaded. It's about the halfway point. So it's not the ideal situation, but it definitely shows you kind of a bit of both worlds where I can take advantage of my performance, but I can also have the ideology of how to go about engaging these targets. And essentially, when you're stock, especially in a jet that relies on its performance, and you don't have any, go for targets of opportunity. Now, normally I harp on people for going after vehicles such as attackers, low flying aircraft, but it comes down to this: if you're a 1,000 meters below your enemy, most of your enemies, and you're in a stock plane, your advantage is it's not there. You're going to get ruffle stomped to oblivion. There's not much you can do unless you have to be in something like a Zero, maybe a Spitfire or a Yak. So what I do recommend is still using what altitude advantage you have to go after the low-flying attackers, because odds are they're not paying attention to you. They're not going to dogfight you. They're just kind of going to run to ground pound, maybe do a couple turns, but they're easy pickings. And that's just sort of get the ball rolling. And the more you play an aircraft, especially if you've never played the airframe before, the more comfortable you're going to get into it. Even if you are fighting low priority targets, easy targets, you're going to start getting a feel for this aircraft. And that's what I have started doing in this match, is I'm no longer going for the low flying targets you saw, as I went for the lone target in the back at altitude. Just so I can kind of have that 1v1 and kind of test the waters just a little bit more without handicapping myself. And as you can see, this gun is not easy to aim, especially when they only have one wing, and I really should be leaving this guy alone, but it looks like he's going to be RTBing, and I'm going to miss like 20 different shots. We do have the cannon upgrade, so it's not as bad as it used to be, but damn, dude, it's bad. And so, as you're slowly figuring your aircraft out, you kind of figure out how it performs in relation to other aircraft. Like a 262 is not going to accelerate or have the top speed as well as a P-80 or an F-80C or an F-84, especially if they're upgraded and they have some speed behind them. But the 262s have pretty decent energy retention because they have multiple engines and they're heavy. Don't remember what Newton's law it is, but an object in motion stays in motion, and the more weight it has, the more inertia it's going to have, which is going to keep it going the same speed as long as possible. And this is one of those situations where this aircraft is going to excel at, is a slight energy advantage, altitude advantage, You don't need a lot to get energy advantage over these props. And we're just going to blow this GN1 to smithereens. Kaboom. So, when you're spading an aircraft, don't be afraid to throw it around. Don't be afraid to be stupid. Because if it's stupid but it works, it's not stupid now, is it? And that's how you're going to learn the aircraft isn't by doing things right. It's by learning what doesn't work. Like my aim. Easiest shot in the world, I completely gypped it. Is by making the mistakes, learning how you got in that situation, why you couldn't get out of it, whether that be because the enemy aircraft performance was way up here and yours is way down low, whether or not, or they're just better at turn fighting than you, or speed or zoom climbing or whatever. You just you have to go by case basis, and it really helps to really learn the aircraft in the game. Like I said, in my previous videos, I do have a kind of a synopsis of each tech tree that I will should be linking up in the upper right hand corner if I can remember. Probably won't, but it is there. It is in my tutorial playlist. If you guys want to go take a look at that, feel free. There's a couple other tutorials. I haven't touched it in a fat minute, mainly due to time and just not having a computer that can handle recording anymore. But now I do, so I'm gonna have to return to it at some point. Now, we are kind of jumping around in this match because it's a lot. This plane has a lot of I'm just going to do nothing. The props in at this battle rating are extremely aggressive. Their performance is sky high, and they take full advantage of it, especially against a slower jet. So you do have to pace yourself. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. That really should have hit. Corsair's zoom climbing up to me. They have an F47 that has 3,000 horsepower in its engine. It will zoom climb the hell out of anything at once. And this is actually quite the beautiful shot. I wasn't even mad. I was actually quite impressed. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to extend away. We're pushing nearly 900 kilometers an hour. I'm not keeping the speed, but we definitely are using it effectively. And we're going to put this into a gentle climb. Now, I wouldn't put it into an aggressive climb. Not with these sort of props with the Bearcat or especially that Corsair or Spitfire, because they can just zoom climb with you and they will prop hang. Their stall speed is so much lower than yours that it's just kind of negate any altitude advantage you get, especially if you're straight above them. But here I'm getting distance between horizontally and vertically, so it kind of just widens the energy gap just a little bit more. As you can see, the power of that Corsair is insane. He is pretty close to stalling right now, but like holy crap. He hits me again. Really surprised I'm not dead right here. I really should have been dead, I'm not gonna lie. But instead, I know if I keep turning, that Corsair eventually is going to whip around on me, so I pull a dive so he has to pull the 180 to get on my 6. And that is going to be your number one skill that you need to master, especially in this game in general, not just a spade aircraft, is positioning. Are you above the enemy? Are you faster than the enemy? Are you behind the enemy? Are you in front of the enemy? It's all these you kind of have to put into some sort of game plan formula that only you can create. I can tell you all day to go for the highest player, but that doesn't always apply. And that's really, it's just experience you guys have to learn. You're not going to watch a YouTube video, one YouTube video, and just automatically become an ace in every aircraft you try to play. That's sadly just not how it works. Now, you can watch a bunch of videos on a certain aircraft and you can learn, but if you're not putting what you learn into practice, the information you've learned from those videos is just going to go in one ear, out the other. So, if you have friends, I know War Thunder players having friends is kind of a hit or miss on that one. Go to duels, play a realistic squad up with them, and you'll kind of learn how different aircraft behave by what situations you guys are ending up getting into. As for duels, you kind of learn you learn your aircraft a bit more, especially if it's asymmetrical. A dogfight, you're going to learn how to take advantage of your airframe a lot more than you are going to if it's just an asymmetrical, like a Spitfire versus a P-51. You're really only going to be playing the speed game, whereas the P-51, you're going to learn a lot more. This has been Plane Killer. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a good one. Bye bye.